For the 15th year running, Frieze London is certainly proving one of the most influential art events in the world today. And this year's fair, featuring some of the world's leading galleries from dozens of countries, certainly was the talk of the town in the art world.
An opportunity to view and buy paintings and sculptures from more than 1,000 leading artists. From emerging ones to leading figures. It's the Frieze Art Fair in London. Since its founding in 2003, it's become one of the main art events in the world.
It's the moment when the whole art world comes to London, and a huge number of sales have taken place already here today. Galleries are showing artists at all different levels, all different stages of their careers, and it's essential that all of them do well.
Even though it was staged to sell artwork, the fair has become a cultural entertainment event. It takes place every October in London's Regent's Park, and it's claimed to be London's largest outdoor exhibition.
I think the wonderful thing about having sculptures outside in the park is that it engages with people that are perhaps too afraid to go into a gallery space. Either they think they're going to be judged for what they're looking at, or they can't afford to buy the artwork.
In recent years, the art world has shifted to embrace a more diverse group of artists, including women, feminists and artists of colour. So this year's edition of Frieze Art Fair celebrated once shunned female and black artists.
Theirs is the strongest voice, talking about sex and talking about politics. The underdog, those that have generally been ignored by society, the art world is now giving them a voice.
One London-based gallery dedicated its entire booth to the steel works of American sculptor Melvin Edwards, a pioneer in the history of contemporary African-American art.
Art didn't belong to either white people or any particular class. Human beings have made art from the beginning of as far as we know. And why should I stop? And I'm not about to give one particular group credit for art.
A section called Sex Work, Feminist Art and Radical Politics featured solo presentations of female artists who explored extreme feminist topics during the 1970s and 80s.
People were afraid of my topics: sexuality, religion, feminism. And it took obviously 40, 50 years that they recognize that the works are worth looking at. I'm shown here at Frieze. 10 years ago it would have been impossible.
Paintings, sculptures, performance and more. This year's fair brought together 160 galleries from 31 countries and offered a wide selection of modern and contemporary art.
Joining me now from London to give us an overview of the Frieze Art Fair is art collector Federico Castro Debernardi. Thank you so much for joining us, Federico. I want to talk about the different opinions of Frieze Art Fair, because some people are saying they're giving us the same things every year, and some people are saying they're bringing new assets to the art industry. What do you think?
Well, I think to start with, Frieze really turns London into the capital of the art world for a week, and that's a very strong thing that they do. Everything you see around town is about art. Even when you go to a restaurant, people are talking about art. And the museums put their best shows of the year up for Frieze. And that's something that is very important for a city like London, where a lot of people from all over the world come to look at art. So they do create a momentum, and the continuity of the strength of that week, of their brand and that program is fundamental, and I think it's a foundation of what an art city should have. So over and over, I think that Frieze does invest a lot in a young program. They bring younger galleries that otherwise wouldn't have as much exposure. They give them very good terms to be able to show at the fair. They have a strict selection committee, and there you have a big investment in the future, and they do change the exhibitors in that area. They do bring new contemporary art for people to discover, I think that's one of the really special things that Frieze can do. And they dedicate a lot of floor space to that, which is a big plus for people who are looking to see what's next.
Well, out of all the artworks that were that were exhibited there, what attracted you the most?
It's difficult to pick a favorite, as there are many, many friends showing there, and they all deserve a big applause for first making it to the art fair, then bringing the strong program they bring. This year I saw the work of Marguerite Humor, a big sculpture of a monkey face, larger than life. She's having a great momentum. I had seen those works before at Frieze as well, and I think it's a great artist and a big investment from the gallery to bring that type of work of that size and of that curatorial approval.
Well, there's been a lot of political turbulence taking place around the world. Are you able to actually feel that in the art fair?
Of course you see them. I think you see it in different ways. So if I have to step back and think about the crazy world we live in right now, first of all is the climate and the conversations people are having. Every conversation turns very political, which was not the case maybe 3 years ago or even 2 years ago. So it is a common theme of conversation when you catch up with people who are coming from those places in the world where the things happening. So that's the first thing. I think, secondly, we started to see this year a lot of nationalism in the artwork selection, a lot of more, as you said, political works, things that address refugee crisis, national identity, values.
Do you think that the fancy and corporate environment of Art Frieze kind of takes away from the message that the artists are trying to give?
Not really, because artists work on a conviction and they do put the message out there through their artworks. And I think the best thing that can happen to them is that that message is widely spread. And one of the actors of this art ecosystem we live in is the art fairs, and lots of people who may not have the time to go to each of these galleries because they're in different parts of town or different parts of the world, or may not have exposure to this art immediately, can really see something that was made 3 months ago and that carries a message that is very current. Well, they may not see it again until that artist gets a lot of attention and coverage. So I think it actually helps.
Well, it is indeed inspiring to see all the messages that they're trying to give out. It was a pleasure having you on our show today, Federico. Thank you so much.